Late today, Tariq Habash, a first-generation Palestinian-American and Biden administration political appointee at the Department of Education, resigned over Biden's Gaza strategy. In his resignation letter to Education Secretary Miguel Cardona, Habash wrote, quote, "The actions of the Biden-Harris administration have put millions of innocent lives in danger, most immediately for the 2.3 million Palestinian civilians living in Gaza who remain under continuous assault and ethnic cleansing by the Israeli government. Therefore, I must resign. I cannot stay silent as this administration turns a blind eye to the atrocities committed against innocent Palestinian lives in what leading human rights experts have called a genocidal campaign by the Israeli government." And joining me now for his first television interview since resigning late today is Tariq Habash, now a former Department of Education Special Assistant. Tariq, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you started out on the Biden campaign as an idealist.
Yeah.
What was the final straw in saying, I can't stay here anymore?
You know, Joy, I worked on the administration's agenda for the last 3 years. I volunteered on the campaign, helping shape the education policy agenda, and we've done a lot of really great work. Unfortunately, all of that great work has been completely overshadowed because of the president's complete unwillingness to demand an immediate and permanent ceasefire, and it is creating immense danger for millions of Palestinians in Gaza, but also for Americans here at home.
Yeah, and you cited in your letter some of the sort of restatements of false information that have dehumanized Palestinians. That would include President Biden, who did repeat early on, you know, some things that turned out not to check out, that accused Palestinians of, or accused Hamas of, but also just saying he didn't believe the numbers of Palestinian dead, which the UN believes. How did that feel just as a Palestinian American to hear the president say, I don't believe it?
I mean, it's heartbreaking. It hurts. It is a dehumanizing thing to hear from the president of the United States, someone who you worked so hard to campaign for and elect and support his policies, that, you know, your life is not valuable. Your identity means less than other people's identities, and it's okay that tens of thousands of people who look like you and who have similar backgrounds and heritage are dying and being massacred, and that hurts.
What was the reaction? What reaction did you get from Secretary Cardona when you handed him this letter?
The secretary was extremely understanding. He was very supportive. You know, I think he always talks about putting faith and family first before work, and you know, he was extremely empathetic. He cares about me, and I appreciate that. I've gotten that type of support from across the administration, from colleagues at the Department of Education, but also colleagues in other areas of the government who have been wanting to speak out and who have been interested in dissenting.
Do you get the sense that there are a lot of other people in the Biden campaign and in the administration who feel the way you do, but are maybe not saying anything?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people are saying something. I think that we've seen hundreds of State Department officials sign on to numerous dissent cables that were leaked. We've seen USAID officials. We've seen White House staff. We've seen interns. We've seen hundreds of officials across the administration from dozens of agencies. This is a pretty commonly held position by a lot of the biggest supporters of the president, and the majority of American voters support a ceasefire, but the president's unwillingness to move on this policy is deafening, and it hurts.
How do you square that? Because Biden really is the empathy guy, right? And empathy is kind of his superpower. It's the thing he's known for more than almost anything else. How do you square for yourself and explain why he doesn't seem to be able to project or have that empathy when it comes to the Palestinian people? Why do you think that is?
I don't know the answer to that, to be honest with you. I agree with you that the president has always been the empathetic person, the person who you can look up to and relate to and share emotions with. But when it comes to Palestinians, it seems like, you know, we don't deserve the same type of empathy and humanization that other people do. And I think that's in part due to decades of dehumanization of Palestinians by our government officials, by our media, and it's extremely problematic. It undermines humanity for millions of people, and it allows for the undermining of humanity by people everywhere.
You know, you were the only Palestinian American in the Department of Education, but you also were a campaign guy. You worked on the campaign. This is not the most important thing, electoral politics, but it kind of is because our democracy is at stake. What are you going to do in November? But I mean, do you have would you vote for Joe Biden?
I think that's up to him. You know, I did volunteer to support the campaign. I've supported the president for the last 3 years in every single thing I do in my professional life. And the reality is the president's in power. He is the one whose name is on the ballot, and it's his policies. If he wants to earn my vote and the vote of millions of Americans who support peace and an end to violence, that's up to him.
Yeah, I think anyone, no matter how you feel about this issue, must respect somebody who is willing to take a stand. And taking a stand and walking away from your job is a pretty big deal. Tariq Habash, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Enough respect. Thank you. And coming up,